It is the secret of making the universe respond to your desires, of shaping reality itself through the power of your imagination. Now I know what some of you may be thinking. Neville, you might say, how can this be possible? How can my mere thoughts and imaginings affect the solid, tangible world around me? And to that I say, not only is it possible, it is the very foundation of all creation, the bedrock upon which our entire existence is built. You see, my dear friends, the world you perceive around you, the chair you're sitting on, the air you're breathing, the thoughts of the person next to you, all of it is nothing more than a reflection of your own consciousness. The universe in all its infinite wisdom and glory is responding moment by moment to the state of your imagination, to the assumptions you hold about yourself and the world. Let me be clear, when I speak of imagination, I'm not referring to idle daydreams or fleeting fantasies. No, I am speaking of something far more profound, far more fundamental to your being. Your imagination, properly understood and applied, is your very self. It is God in action within you. It is in essence the creative power of the universe focused through the lens of your individual consciousness. Now I can see the skepticism in some of your eyes. You're wondering if this is true. Why isn't my life perfect? Why do I face challenges and setbacks? And to that I say, because you're yet fully awakened to your true nature, to the immense power that lies dormant within you. You see, most people go through life believing they are at the mercy of external circumstances. They believe that their lives are shaped by forces beyond their control, by their upbringing, their environment, their genes, or even by some capricious deity who doles out blessings and curses at will. But I am here to tell you with absolute certainty that nothing could be further from the truth. You, my dear friends, are the operant power in your life. You are the one who shapes your reality, who determines your fate. And you do this not through your actions in the outer world, but through the states you occupy in your imagination. Now let me explain what I mean by states. A state is a mindset, a way of being, a particular arrangement of your consciousness. When you embody a state, be it one of wealth, health, love, or success, you are in that moment, that very thing. And here's the crucial point. The outer world has no choice but to conform to the state you have assumed. This, my friends, is the law that governs all creation. It is immutable, unchanging, and it operates with perfect precision in every moment of your existence. The world is nothing more than a mirror, faithfully reflecting back to you the state you have assumed. But here's where most people stumble. They look at their current circumstances, at the limitations and lack in their lives, and they assume that this is their reality. They accept it as an unchangeable fact, not realizing that by doing so, they are perpetuating those very conditions. You see, the secret to changing your life, to making the universe respond, lies in your ability to disregard the evidence of your senses and instead live from the end. What do I mean by this? I mean that you must have the courage and the imagination to see your desires already fulfilled, to experience in your mind the joy and satisfaction of your wish realized. This, my friends, is the art of assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. It is the cornerstone of all successful manifestation, the key that unlocks the infinite potential of your imagination. Now, I can hear some of you thinking, but Neville, how can I possibly feel something that isn't true? How can I convince myself of a reality that doesn't exist? And to that I say, you are already doing it every moment of your life. Every belief you hold, every assumption you make about yourself and the world is nothing more than an act of imagination that you have accepted as truth. The only difference is that most people imagine unconsciously, allowing their minds to be shaped by past experiences and current circumstances. But you, my dear friends, have the power to imagine consciously, to deliberately choose the states you will occupy. Let me give you an example to illustrate this point. Imagine a man who desires wealth. He looks at his current bank balance, at the bills piling up on his desk, and he feels poor. He walks down the street, sees luxury cars and expensive shops, and he feels lack. In every moment he is affirming his poverty, he is assuming the state of being poor. Now contrast this with a man who understands the power of imagination. This man regardless of his current circumstances, chooses to assume the state of wealth. When he walks down that same street, he doesn't see things he can't afford. He sees evidence of abundance that is already his. When he looks at his bills, he feels gratitude for the services he's received and the ability to pay for them. In his imagination, he feels the crisp texture of large bills in his wallet. He experiences the peace of mind that comes with financial security. He savors the freedom to live as he chooses, to help others, to pursue his passions without concern for money. Which of these men do you think is more likely to manifest actual wealth in the outer world? The answer, of course, is clear. The universe can only respond to the state you occupy, to the assumptions you hold about yourself and your place in the world. Now, I want to address a common misconception. Some of you might be thinking, but Neville, isn't this just positive thinking? Isn't this just fooling myself? And to that I say, absolutely not. What I'm describing goes far beyond mere positive thinking or affirmations. You see, positive thinking operates on the level of the conscious mind. It's an attempt to override negative thoughts with more positive ones. But the power I'm speaking of, the power to make the universe respond, operates at a much deeper level. It's not about thinking positively, it's about being positively. When you truly assume a state in your imagination, when you occupy it fully, you are not fooling yourself. You are in that moment actually becoming the person who has what you desire. You are shifting your entire consciousness, aligning yourself with the reality you wish to experience. This is why simply repeating affirmations or visualizing your desires often falls short. These techniques can be useful, but they're not enough on their own. To truly change your life, to make the universe respond, you must feel the reality of your desire. You must experience it so vividly in your imagination. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but Neville, you might say, I've tried this. I've imagined what I want. I've tried to feel it real, but nothing has changed. And to that I say persistence is key. Remember, you are undoing a lifetime of habitual thinking and feeling. You are dismantling deeply ingrained beliefs about yourself and the world. This is not always an easy process. It requires dedication, it requires faith, and above all, it requires persistence. You must be willing to maintain your assumed state, even when all evidence points to the contrary. You must have courage to disregard the world of shadows and live fully in the world of imagination. Let me share with you a story that illustrates this point. I once knew a woman who desperately wanted to be married. She had been single for years, and despite her best efforts, she couldn't seem to find the right partner. She came to me frustrated and disheartened, asking for help. I instructed her to imagine every night before sleep that she was already married to the perfect partner. I told her to feel the ring on her finger, to experience the warmth of her lover's embrace, to hear the words of love and commitment whispered in her ear. At first, she found this difficult. Her loneliness and frustration kept intruding on her imaginal scene, but she persisted. Night after night, she lived in her imagination as a happily married woman. And slowly, something began to change. She noticed that she felt different during the day. She carried herself with more confidence. She interacted with men differently, free from the desperation that had previously colored her interactions. And then, seemingly out of nowhere, she met someone. The relationship blossomed quickly, and within a year she was married to a man who matched perfectly the one she had been imagining. Now, some might call this a coincidence, but I assure you it was anything but. This woman had changed her state, had shifted her consciousness, and the universe had no choice but to respond in kind. This, my dear friends, is the power that lies within each and every one of you. The power to shape your reality, to mold the universe itself through the power of your imagination. But let me be clear, this is not about controlling others or manipulating external circumstances. The only thing you can ever change is yourself. But when you change yourself, when you shift your state, when you assume a new way of being, the entire world reshapes itself to match your new self-concept. Now, I want to address another important point. Some of you might be wondering, but Neville, about action. Don't we need to do something in the outer world to make our desires a reality? And to that I say, inspired action will flow naturally from your assumed state. You see, when you truly occupy a state of the wish fulfilled, When you live from the end, your actions in the outer world will naturally align with your desire. You won't have to force yourself to take action. You won't have to push against resistance. Instead, you'll find yourself naturally drawn to take the right actions at the right time. This is because your outer world is nothing more than an expression of your inner state. When you change your state, your perception changes and new opportunities become visible to you. Doors that were previously closed suddenly open. People and circumstances that can help you achieve your desire are drawn into your life, as if by magic. But remember, the action is not the cause of your manifestation, it is the result. The true cause is always the state you occupy in your imagination. This is why two people can take the same actions in the outer world and achieve vastly different results. It's not the action itself that determines the outcome, but the state from which the action springs. Now let's delve deeper into the mechanics of how this process works. Using your subconscious mind, which is really your connection to the infinite intelligence of the universe, doesn't distinguish between what you imagine vividly and what you experience in the outer world. To your subconscious, they are one and the same. This is why your imaginal acts are so powerful. When you imagine something vividly, when you occupy a state fully in your imagination, your subconscious accepts it as reality. And once your subconscious accepts something as real, it goes to work to make it so in your outer world. This is not some mystical or supernatural process, as it's simply the way consciousness operates. Your consciousness is the only reality. What you assume to be true, what you believe in the depths of your being, must be expressed in your outer world. This is an inviolable law of consciousness. Now, I want to address a question that often arises when I speak about these principles. Some of you might be wondering, but Neville, what about other people? How can my imagination affect them? And to that I say, there are no others. I know this might sound strange, even solipsistic, but bear with me. You see, the people in your life, the circumstances you encounter, are all of you pushed out. They are reflections of your consciousness, expressions of your assumptions and beliefs. This doesn't mean that other people don't exist or that they don't have free will, but it does mean that your experience of them, your interactions with them, are shaped by your consciousness. Change your consciousness and your experience of others will change too. Let me give you an example to illustrate this point. Imagine a man who believes that people are generally unfriendly, unhelpful. As he goes about his day, he encounters people who seem to confirm this belief. The cashier at the store is curt with him. His co-workers are distant strangers on the street, avoid eye contact. Now imagine this same man decides to change his assumption. He begins to imagine that people are friendly and eager to help. He feels this new assumption as true. He occupies this new state fully in his imagination. And suddenly his experiences begin to change. The same cashier smiles and strikes up a friendly conversation. His co-workers become more open and collaborative. Strangers on the street offer warm smiles. Has the world suddenly changed? Have all these people suddenly become different? Of course not. What has changed is the man's consciousness. And as a result, his perception and experience of the world has shifted. This, my dear friends, is the true power of your imagination. It's not just about manifesting material things or achieving specific goals. It's about shaping your entire experience of reality. It's about becoming the proton to be, about living in the world you want to inhabit. Now I want to address another important aspect of this work. Some of you might be wondering about the role of desire in this process. You might be asking, Neville, where do our desires come from? And how do we know which desires to pursue? To that I say, your desires are not random. They are not arbitrary whims, fancies. Your desires are messages from your higher self, from the God within you. They are invitations to grow, to expand, to more fully express your divine nature. When you feel a genuine desire, not a selfish want, but a deep, heartfelt longing, that is God's way of telling you what's possible for you. It's a preview of a potential reality that you have the power to manifest. This is why it is so important to honor your desires, to take them seriously. When you dismiss your desires as impossible or unworthy, you are turning your back on your own divinity. You are rejecting the gift that the universe is offering you. But here's the crucial point. The fulfillment of your desire is not the ultimate goal. The real purpose of your desire is to lead you to a new state of being, to a new level of consciousness. The outer manifestation is simply a guide you have successfully shifted your state. This is why it's so important to focus on the feeling of the wish fulfilled, rather than on the specific details of how it will come about. When you imagine your desire as fulfilled, when you occupy that state fully, you are aligning yourself with the essence of what you want. And often the universe will surprise you by bringing your desire to pass in ways far more wonderful than you could have planned. Now, I want to address a common concern that arises when people begin to work with these principles. Some of you might be thinking, but Neville, what if I imagine something and it doesn't happen? What if I assume a state and nothing changes? To that I say, have patience and above all have faith. Remember, you are working with the very substance of the universe. You are engaging with the fundamental laws of creation. This is not always an instantaneous process. Sometimes the seed you plant in your imagination will sprout quickly, manifesting in your outer world in a matter of days or weeks. Other times it may take longer. But make no mistake, once you have planted that seed, once you have truly occupied a state in your imagination, the wheels of creation are set in motion. Your manifestation is inevitable, as long as you maintain your faith and persist in your assumption. This is where many people falter. They imagine their desire, they try to feel it real, but when they don't see immediate results, they give up. They return to their old state, their old assumptions, and then wonder why nothing has changed. But I assure you, my dear friends, that every imaginal act you perform is fruitful. Every state you occupy leaves its mark on your subconscious. Even if you don't see immediate results, trust that your imagination is doing its work. Trust that the universe is rearranging itself to match your new set. This trust, this unwavering faith is crucial. You must have faith in the law, faith in the power of your imagination. But more than that, you must have faith in yourself, in your divine nature, in your ability to create your reality. Now let's talk about how to practically apply these principles in your daily life. The first step is to choose your state. What is it that you truly desire? What kind of person do you want to be? What kind of life do you want to live? Once you've identified your desire, create a scene that implies its fulfillment. This scene should be short, simple, and easy to repeat. It should capture the essence of your desire, the feeling of it being realized. For example, if your desire is for a loving relationship, you might imagine hearing a loved one say, "I'm so happy we're together." Feel the warmth of their embrace, the love in their voice. Make it as vivid and real as possible. If your desire is for financial abundance, you might imagine looking at your bank statement and seeing a balance that thrills you. Feel the sense of security, the freedom that comes with financial abundance. Whatever you're seeing, the key is to make it feel real. Engage all your senses. Don't just see it, hear it, feel it, smell it. Taste it if appropriate. The more real you can make it in your imagination, the more powerful it will be. Now here's the crucial part. You must enter this scene as if it were happening now, not as a future event, not as something you hope will happen, but as a present reality. You must feel the naturalness of it, the sense that, of course, this is your reality. I recommend practicing this imaginal scene every night as you fall asleep. You see, sleep is a powerful time for impressing your subconscious mind. As you drift off to sleep, your conscious mind relaxes its hold, allowing your imaginal scene to sink deep into your subconscious. But don't limit yourself to nighttime. Throughout your day, whenever one moment, return to your scene. Feel the reality of it. Let the feeling of your wish fulfilled permeate your entire being. Now I want to address another important point. Some of you might be wondering about negative thoughts and doubts. You might be asking, Neville, what if I can't stop my negative thoughts? What if I doubt whether this will work? To that I say, don't fight your negative thoughts. Don't try to force them away. Instead, simply return to your imaginal scene. Return to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. You see, what you resist persists. but what you accept and then replace fades away. Your negative thoughts or doubts are simply habits of mind. They are old states that you've occupied for so long that they feel natural to you. But remember, you have the power to choose your state. You have the power to decide what you would accept as real. When doubts arise, when negative thoughts intrude, simply acknowledge them and then gently return to your chosen state. Say to yourself, there's that old thought again. But I know the truth. I know what's real. And then immerse yourself once more in the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Over time, as you persist in your new state, these old thoughts and doubts will fade away. They'll lose their power over you. You'll find it easier and easier to maintain your chosen state, to live from the end. Now let's talk about something that many people struggle with, letting go. You see, there's a seeming paradox in this work. On one hand, you must live from the state of your wish fulfilled, feeling it as real and present. On the other hand, you must let go of attachment to the outcome. This can be challenging. How can you feel something as real and yet not be attached to it? The key is to understand that your job is not to make your desire happen. Your job is simply to occupy the state. The manifestation, the outer fulfillment, is not your concern. That's the job of the universe. When you truly live from the end, when you fully occupy your desired state, you no longer feel a sense of lack or need. You're not actually waiting for your desire to manifest, because in your imagination it already has. You're simply enjoying the state, savoring the feeling of your wish fulfilled. This is true detachment. It's not about not caring whether your desire manifests. It's about knowing that it has already manifested on the level of imagination, which is the only reality. The outer world has no choice but to conform to this inner reality in divine timing and divine order. Now, I want to address a question that often arises when I speak about these principles. Some of you might be wondering, but Neville, what about morality? What if someone uses this power for selfish or harmful purposes? To that, I say the law is neutral. Like gravity doesn't distinguish between what we might consider good or bad. It simply responds to the state we occupy. But I assure you that when you truly understand and apply these principles, you will have no desire to harm others or to act selfishly. You see, as you begin to experience your own divine nature, as you realize your oneness with all of creation, your desires naturally align with the highest good. You begin to understand that what blesses one blesses all, that there is no separation between you and others. Moreover, you realize that you don't need to take from others to have what you want. You don't need to compete or struggle. You simply need to assume the state of having or being what you desire, and the universe will respond accordingly. This understanding leads to a profound shift in consciousness. You move from a mindset of lack and limitation to one of abundance and infinite possibility. You realize that there is more than enough for everyone, that one person's gain doesn't have to mean another's loss. Now, as we near the end of our time together, I want to leave you with a final thought. The principles I've shared with you today are not new. They are as old as consciousness itself. They have been taught by mystics and sages throughout the ages, often veiled in symbolic language. What I've attempted to do is to present these timeless truths in a clear, practical way that you can apply in your daily life. But remember, the real proof of these principles lies not in my words, but in your experience. I encourage you, my dear friends, to test these ideas for yourself. Choose a safe side, create your scene, and live from that state. Persist even when outer appearances seem to contradict your imaginal act. Have faith in the law. Have faith in your own divine nature. And as you do this, as you begin to experience the power of your imagination to shape your reality, you will undergo profound transformation. You will begin to understand, not just intellectually, but experientially, that you are the operant power in your life. You will realize that the universe is not something separate from you, but a loving, responsive extension of your own consciousness. This realization, my friends, is true freedom. It's the key to creating the life you desire, to becoming the person you want to be. It's the secret to making the universe respond. Remember, the world is yourself pushed out. Everything you experience is a reflection of your own consciousness. Change your consciousness and you change your world. This is the great secret, the great law. It has always been so, and it will always be so. As you leave here today, I urge you to carry this knowledge with you. Let it infuse every aspect of your life. Use your imagination lovingly and wisely. Create beautiful states for yourself and for others. Live from the state of your wishes fulfilled. For in doing so, you are not just changing your own life. You are participating in the grand dance of creation. You are fulfilling your divine purpose. You are making the universe respond, not just to your individual desires, but to the highest and best possibilities for all of creation. Go forth, my dear friends, and create wonderfully. For you are the makers of your world, the authors of your destiny. The power is within you. The time is now. The choice is yours. Thank you, and may your imagination be blessed. When I tell you to act as if you are the best, I'm not speaking of arrogance or comparison with others. I'm speaking of recognizing and embodying your divine nature. For you are God's own image and likeness made manifest in flesh. Many of you come to these lectures believing that others are better than you, more talented than you, more deserving than you. But I tell you this, such beliefs are nothing but assumed imitations. And like all assumptions, they can be changed in a single moment of understanding. Consider this: when Scripture says, I am that I am, it's revealing the fundamental truth of your being. You are not becoming the best, you are the best. Your only task is to recognize and assume this truth until it becomes your living reality. Let me share with you what I mean by acting as if you are the best. It's not about competing with others or proving your superiority. It's about assuming the state of being the person you desire to be, knowing that no one can prevent you from expressing your highest conception of yourself. When you truly grasp that consciousness is the only reality, you understand that your concept of self determines everything you experience. If you assume others are better than you, the universe must conform to provide experiences that confirm this assumption. If you assume you are the best, the universe must, and I emphasize must, reorganize itself to reflect this assumption back to you. Here's a profound truth that few understand. Your present concept of self, the one that makes you feel less than others, is just as much a step as the one I'm asking you to adopt. You weren't born believing others were better than you. You learned to assume this through experience and accepted it as truth. Changing this assumption requires a complete revision of your self-concept. You must begin to live from the assumption that you are the best, not through comparison with others, but through the recognition of your divine nature. For when I say you are the best, I'm speaking of your true identity as pure consciousness. Let me share with you what happens in consciousness when you truly assume you are the best. First, all sense of competition falls away. When you know you are the best, you don't need to prove it to anyone. You don't need to diminish others to elevate yourself. You simply are, and that knowing is enough. Many of you make the mistake of trying to become the best through effort and struggle. But I tell you this, you cannot become what you already are. Your task is not to become the best, but to recognize and assume that you already are the best. This is what Scripture means when it says, be still and know that I am God. Consider this. Everything you're experiencing now, every limitation, every feeling of being less than others, is simply the harvested fruit of your past assumptions. The universe has been faithfully reflecting back to you what you have assumed about yourself. If you've assumed others are better, the universe has provided evidence to support this assumption. But here is the liberating truth. You can change this pattern in a single moment by assuming a new concept of self. When you assume you are the best, the universe has no choice but to rearrange itself to reflect this new assumption. This is law, and the law never fails. Let me tell you something about assuming you are the best. It has nothing to do with ego or pride. It's about recognizing your divine nature and allowing it to express through you. When you truly assume this state, you naturally want others to recognize and express their divine nature as well. This is why the command is to love your neighbor as yourself. When you truly recognize your own divine nature, you automatically get others. In others, you don't need to compete with them. because you understand that their success doesn't diminish your own greatness. Expressing your divine nature means living from the assumption that you are the best version of yourself right now, in this moment. Not tomorrow, not when circumstances change, but now. For in consciousness, where all creation takes place, there is no waiting, no becoming, there is only being. Let me share with you a principle that many find difficult to accept. Your current circumstances have no power to prevent you from assuming you are the best. Your bank account, your education, your background, your past failures, none of these can stop you from assuming a new concept of self. They are merely shadows of past assumptions. Many of you say, but Neville, how can I assume I'm the best when others are more qualified, more successful, more experienced? I tell you this, these comparisons exist only in your imagination. And if they exist in your imagination, they can be revised in your imagination. For imagination creates reality. Consider this, every great individual who ever lived first assumed their greatness before it became visible to others. They didn't wait for circumstances to make them great. They assumed their greatness, and circumstances had to conform to their assumption. This is the law. When you truly assume you are the best, something remarkable happens in consciousness. All sense of strain, all need to prove yourself, all fear of competition falls away. You begin to move through life with a confidence that needs no external validation. Let me tell you something about this state of being the best. It's not about being better than others. It's about being better than your previous concept of yourself. When you assume this state, you naturally inspire others to rise to their best as well. For when one rises, all rise. Here's a profound truth about assuming you are the best. The universe cannot give you less than what you assume for yourself. If you assume mediocrity, the universe must provide experiences of mediocrity. If you assume excellence, the universe must provide experiences of excellence. Assuming excellence means occupying the state of being excellent in your imagination until it becomes your dominant feeling. Not just during meditation or visualization, but in every moment of your daily life. Your every thought, your every action, your every reaction must spring from this new assumption. Let me share with you what happens when you truly assume you are the best. Your walk changes, your talk changes, your posture changes, not through conscious effort, but as a natural expression of your new self-concept. The universe must then reshape itself to match this new expression. Many of you make the mistake of trying to act confident while maintaining an inner feeling of inadequacy. But I tell you this, the universe responds not to your outer actions, but to your inner feeling tone. You must feel your excellence in the very depths of your being. Consider this, right now in this very moment, there are infinite states of consciousness available to you. The state of being the best already exists, complete and perfect. Your task is not to create this state, but to occupy it through your assumption. When you assume you are the best, you stop seeking approval from others. You stop comparing yourself to others. You stop making excuses for why you can't succeed. These behaviors cannot exist in the consciousness of one who truly knows their own excellence. Let me tell you something crucial about maintaining this state. You will be tested. The world of Caesar will present you with evidence that seems to contradict your assumption. Old circumstances, old relationships, old patterns will persist for a time. This is law. But here's the secret. These circumstances have no power except the power you give them through your reaction. If you maintain your assumption of being the best despite contrary evidence, that very evidence must change to match your assumption. Handling contrary evidence is where most people falter in their assumption of being the best. When circumstances seem to deny your assumption, when others doubt you, when results don't immediately appear, this is when you must stand most firmly in your conviction. Let me share with you a principle that has proven itself countless times. The outer world will continue to reflect your old concept of self for a time. This is not a denial of your new assumption. It is an opportunity to strengthen it. Every circumstance that seems to deny your excellence is actually an opportunity to prove your assumption. Many of you abandon your assumption of being the best at the first sign of failure or criticism. But I tell you this, those very failures, those very criticisms, when met with unwavering assumption of your excellence, become the building blocks of your success. For what you persist in assuming must become your reality. Consider this. When you truly know you are the best, failure becomes impossible. You may face temporary setbacks, but in your consciousness, these are merely stepping stones to your inevitable success. This is how the great ones think. And this is how you must think if you would assume your greatness. The universe responds not to what others think of you, not to your past performance, not to your current circumstances, but to your persistent assumption. If you maintain the feeling of being the best despite all evidence to the contrary, the universe must, and I emphasize must, reorganize itself to match your assumption. Let me tell you something about persistence in your assumption. It's not about duration in time, but about the intensity of conviction. One moment of complete acceptance of your excellence is worth more than years of half-hearted affirmations. The universe responds not to time, but to the intensity of your assumption. Here's a profound truth about maintaining your assumption. You don't maintain it by fighting against current conditions. You maintain it by remaining so centered in your excellence that current conditions become irrelevant. Just as light doesn't fight darkness, it simply shines. You don't fight against limitations. You simply radiate excellence. Radiating excellence comes from a deep inner conviction that transcends all external circumstances. When you truly assume you are the best, this assumption radiates from you naturally, without effort, without strain, without trying to convince others. It becomes as natural as breathing. Let me share with you what I mean by radiating excellence. When you wake in the morning, before you even open your eyes, feel the naturalness of being the best. Not with excitement or enthusiasm, but with the quiet certainty of knowing who you really are. This feeling should be as natural as knowing your own name. Many of you try to radiate excellence through outer actions, through your clothes, your possessions, your achievements. But I tell you this, true excellence radiates from within. It's not something you do, it's something you are. The outer manifestations will follow naturally when your inner assumption is secure. Consider this, everything in your world right now is a reflection of your past radiation. If you've been radiating doubt, uncertainty, or feelings of inadequacy, the universe has faithfully reflected these back to you. The universe can only reflect what you radiate from within. When you truly radiate excellence, something remarkable happens. Others begin to recognize and respond to it. Not because you're trying to impress them, but because they can't help but respond to the conviction you carry within. This is why Scripture says, let your light so shine before men. Let me tell you something vital about radiating excellence. It must be consistent. You cannot radiate excellence for an hour and then return to radiating doubt and limitation. The universe responds to your predominant radiation, not to your occasional moments of feeling confident. Here's a profound truth about radiation. It affects everything in your world. When you truly radiate excellence, every person you meet, every circumstance you encounter must adjust itself to match your radiation. This is law, and the law never fails. Your radiation affects your world in ways that your logical mind could never conceive. When you consistently radiate the feeling of being the best, the entire universe must, and I emphasize must, rearrange itself to reflect this radiation back to you in the form of corresponding circumstances, events, and relationships. Let me share with you what happens when you maintain this radiation of excellent radiation. People who previously doubted you begin to see you differently. Opportunities that seemed close to you suddenly appear. Circumstances that appeared limiting begin to transform. Not because you're manipulating the outer world, but because your radiation is creating a new world. Many of you ask how long it will take for your world to reflect your new radiation. But I tell you this, time is not a factor in consciousness. The moment you achieve a complete conviction of being the best, the entire universe begins its reorganization. The time it takes for this to become visible depends solely on the intensity of your conviction. Consider this right now in this very moment. There are infinite versions of you existing simultaneously. There's a version where you're struggling, a version where you're succeeding, a version where you're the absolute best in your field. Your radiation determines which version you experience. When you truly understand this, you stop trying to compete with others. You realize that your only competition is with your previous concept of self. The only person you need to be better than is who you were yesterday. And this improvement comes not through strain or effort, but through assuming a higher concept of self. Let me tell you something about this radiation of excellence. It must become your natural state. Just as you don't think about breathing, you shouldn't have to think about being the best. It should be your default state, your natural way of being in the world. Here's a profound truth about maintaining this radiation. You don't maintain it by affirming it or by trying to convince others. You maintain it by living from it, by making it so much a part of your consciousness that you can't conceive of being any other way. Living from the state of being the best means making it your constant dwelling place in consciousness. Just as you naturally live in your physical home without constantly reminding yourself that it's your home, you must naturally live in the consciousness of being the best without constant mental effort. Let me share with you what happens when you truly live from this state. Your decisions change, your choices change, your responses to challenges change, not because you're trying to act differently, but because these new behaviors are the natural expression of your new state of consciousness. Many of you try to live from this state for a few hours or days, then slip back into your old patterns of thinking. But I tell you this, you must make a complete and permanent move into this new state. You must burn the bridges to your old concept of self. There can be no going back, no visiting your old limitations. Consider this. Every great achievement in human history came from someone who dared to live from the state of being the best. They didn't wait until circumstances confirmed their greatness. They assumed their greatness first. And circumstances had no choice but to conform to their assumption. When you truly live from the state of being the best, criticism cannot touch you, not because you've become immune to it, but because you're living in a state where criticism is irrelevant. Just as a king doesn't defend his right to the throne, you don't defend your excellence, you simply live from it. Let me tell you something vital about living from this state. It requires no effort once you're truly established in it. Just as it requires no effort to be who you currently believe yourself to be, it requires no effort to be the best once you fully assume that state. Here's a profound truth about living from the state of being the best. It transforms not just your future, but your past as well. When you fully occupy the state, you begin to see how every past experience, even the seemingly negative ones, contributed to your excellence. Many of you believe that being the best means constantly striving, constantly pushing, constantly competing. But I tell you this, true excellence comes from a state of being, not from doing. When you occupy the state of being the best, your actions flow naturally from that state without strain or effort. Consider this right now. You're living from some concept of self. This concept might be that you're average, that others are better, that you need to struggle to succeed. And the universe has faithfully reflected this concept back to you. But I tell you this, you can shift to a new concept of self in a single moment of understanding. When you truly grasp that being the best is your natural state, your divine inheritance, something remarkable happens. All the energy you've been using to compete, to prove yourself, to overcome limitations becomes available for creative expression. You stop trying to become and simply allow yourself to be. Let me tell you something about this state of being the best. It's not about superiority over others. It's about expressing your highest potential, about being the best version of yourself. When you truly occupy this state, you naturally want others to recognize and express their excellence as well. Here's a profound truth about living as the best. It's the most natural thing in the world once you understand your true identity. You are God's own imagination made manifest. How could you be anything less than the best? Any limitation you experience is simply a limitation you've accepted in imagination. Accepting your true identity as the best version of yourself requires a complete revision of everything you've believed about who you are. You must understand that your current concept of self, with all its limitations and doubts, is just as much an assumed state as the one I'm asking you to adopt. Let me share with you what happens when you fully accept your true identity. First, all sense of unworthiness falls away. You stop questioning whether you deserve success, whether you're good enough, whether you can achieve your goals. You know with absolute certainty that excellence is your natural state. Many of you have lived so long with a limited concept of self that being the best seems like an impossible dream. But I tell you this, that very feeling of impossibility is itself an assumption. And like all assumptions, It can be changed in a single moment through the power of your wonderful human imagination. Consider this. Every limitation you now accept, every feeling of being less than the best, is nothing more than a habit of consciousness. And habits, no matter how long established, can be changed through persistent assumption of a new state. This is law, and the law never fails. When you truly accept your identity as the best, your entire world must reshape itself to match this new self-concept. People who once intimidated you will find themselves responding to your new radiation. Circumstances that seem beyond your reach will naturally align themselves with your new assumption. Let me tell you something vital about maintaining this new identity. You don't maintain it through willpower or positive thinking. You maintain it through understanding. Once you truly understand that being the best is your natural state, you can no more doubt it than you can doubt your own existence. Here's a profound truth about your true identity. It's not something you need to create or achieve. It already exists, complete and perfect, waiting for you to step into it through assumption. Your only task is to accept it, to occupy it, to live from it. Many of you fluctuate between excellent and feeling inadequate, depending on external circumstances. But I tell you this, such fluctuation is impossible when you truly occupy the state of being the best. Just as a king doesn't stop being a king during challenges, you don't stop being excellent when facing obstacles. Consider this: every experience you encounter is simply an opportunity to express your excellence. Even apparent failures become opportunities to demonstrate your unshakable conviction in your own greatness. For when you live from the state of being the best, failure becomes impossible. When you truly live from this identity, something remarkable happens to your relationship with time. You stop waiting to become excellent in the future and start expressing excellence now. For in consciousness, where all creation takes place, there is no waiting, no becoming, there is only being. Let me tell you something crucial about maintaining this state. The world will test your conviction. It must, for this is law. Old circumstances, old relationships, old patterns of failure will persist for a time. But these are not obstacles to your assumption. They are opportunities to strengthen it. Here's a profound truth about living from your true identity. It requires no effort once you're established in it. Just as you don't need effort to be who you currently believe yourself to be. You need no effort to be the best once you've fully accepted this as your true identity. Uncovering your natural excellence is like removing layers of dust from a perfect mirror. The brilliance was always there. It was merely covered by accumulated beliefs in limitation, doubt, and unworthiness. As you remove these false beliefs, your natural excellence shines forth with ever-increasing clarity. Let me share with you what happens when these layers of limitation begin to fall away. First, you stop seeking validation from others. You stop needing external confirmation of your excellence. You know who you are with such certainty that no external opinion can shake your conviction. Many of you have accumulated so many layers of limiting beliefs that your natural excellence seems like a distant dream. But I tell you this, these limitations are no more permanent than dust on a mirror. They can be wiped away in an instant through the power of your assumption. Consider this: every limiting belief you now hold, every doubt about your excellence, every fear of inadequacy was learned. And what can be learned can be unlearned. Your task is not to create excellence, but to remove the barriers to its expression. When you truly begin this process of uncovering your excellence, something remarkable happens to your entire worldview. You start to see that every circumstance, every relationship, every experience has been serving to reveal your true nature. Even your apparent failures have been leading you to this recognition. Let me tell you something crucial about this uncovering process. It happens not through effort, but through understanding. The moment you truly understand that excellence is your natural state, the layers of limitation begin to fall away of the Achilles. Here's a profound truth about uncovering your excellence. The process is instantaneous in consciousness, but may appear gradual in manifestation. The moment you fully accept your true identity, the entire universe begins its reorganization to reflect this truth. The time it takes for this to become visible depends solely on the completeness of your acceptance. The process of accepting your natural excellence requires a complete revision of your self-concept. You must be willing to release every belief, every idea, every concept that contradicts your true identity as the best. This is not something you do gradually. It must be absolute and complete. Let me share with you what happens when this acceptance becomes total. First, all internal conflict ceases. The battle between who you think you should be and who you think you are ends completely. There is only the quiet certainty of knowing your true identity as the best. Many of you try to accept your excellence while still holding on to doubts and limitations. But I tell you this, such partial acceptance is no acceptance at all. You cannot serve two masters. You cannot live from the state of being the best while maintaining a backup identity of limitation. Consider this, your current concept of self, with all its limitations and doubts, is just as much an assumed state as the one I'm asking you to adopt. The only difference is that you've practiced your current concept longer. But time is no factor in consciousness. A new state, fully accepted, becomes just as natural as any long-held belief. When you truly accept your excellence without reservation, something remarkable happens to your entire experience of life. What once seemed like obstacles become opportunities. What once seemed like competition becomes irrelevant. What once seemed like limitations become launching pads for greater expression. Let me tell you something vital about this acceptance. It must be unconditional. You can accept your excellence only when circumstances support it. You must maintain this acceptance regardless of external conditions, knowing that conditions must conform to your consciousness, not the other way around. Here's a profound truth about complete acceptance. It transforms not just your future, but your past as well. When you fully accept your excellence, you begin to see how every past experience, even the seemingly negative ones, was perfectly designed to lead you to this recognition.
In the quietude of a moonlit garden, a gentle breeze whispers through the leaves, carrying with it the essence of unspoken devotion. Have you ever felt the profound impact of a love so deep? It transcends words. Love that communicates through the subtlest of gestures, the softest of touches, the most profound silences. Close your eyes for a moment. Envision a couple, hand in hand, walking through this tranquil garden. No words pass between them, yet their connection is palpable, electric, alive. This, dear friends, is the power of silent love. A force so potent, it can move mountains without uttering a single sound. But how does one harness this power? How can we show our true worth to our loved ones without resorting to grand declarations or extravagant display? The answer lies in the whisper of that breeze, in the gentle rustle of leaves, in the unspoken understanding that passes between two souls deeply in tune with each other. It's in the small, seemingly insignificant moments that true love flourishes and our worth shines through. Think back to a time when you felt truly seen, truly understood by your partner. Was it during a heartfelt conversation? Perhaps, but more often than not, it's in those quiet moments. A knowing glance across a crowded room, a comforting hand on your shoulder during a challenging time, or simply their presence beside you as you face life's ups and downs. These are the threads that weave the tapestry of a profound, enduring love, invisible to the naked eye, yet stronger than the most unbreakable steel. These threads connect us to our loved ones in ways that words often fail to capture. But here's the crux of the matter. These threads, these connections, they don't just happen by chance. They are cultivated, nurtured, grown with intention and care. And at the heart of this cultivation lies a fundamental truth. To truly show your worth to your loved one, you must first recognize and embrace your own inherent value. You see, the world outside is but a reflection of our inner reality. The love we receive, the worth others see and use, it all stems from the love and worth we recognize within ourselves. This isn't about ego or self-importance. No. This is about acknowledging the divine spark that resides within each of us, the unique essence that makes us who we are. When we truly embrace our own worth, when we stand firm in the knowledge of our inherent value, we radiate an energy that others can't help but notice. It's like a beacon drawing our loved ones closer, inviting them to see us as we truly are. But how do we cultivate this inner worth? How do we nurture the divine spark within us? It begins with self-reflection. Take a moment now to look within. What are the qualities that make you uniquely you? What are the strengths you bring to your relationships? Perhaps it's your unwavering loyalty, your ability to find humor in difficult situations, or your capacity for deep empathy. Whatever these qualities are, acknowledge them, embrace them, for they are the building blocks. Now imagine infusing every interaction with your loved one with this sense of self-worth. Imagine approaching each moment, each gesture, each silence with the full knowledge of your inherent value. How would that change the dynamics of your relationship? You see, when we operate from a place of inner worth, our actions take on a new depth, a new significance. A simple touch becomes a profound expression of love. A moment of silence transforms into a space of deep connection. Even the most mundane of daily interactions becomes infused with meaning and purpose. This is the alchemy of silent love. The ability to transform the ordinary into the extraordinary through the power of our inner state. But let's be clear, this isn't about perfection. It's not about presenting a flawless facade to your loved one. True worth, true love, embraces all aspects of who we are, our strengths and our vulnerabilities, our light and our shadows. In fact, it's often in our moments of vulnerability that our true worth shines brightest. And when we allow our loved ones to see us as we truly are, without pretense or mask, we create a space for deep, authentic connection. Remember the couple in the garden. Their silent connection wasn't born from perfection. It was forged in the crucible of shared experiences, joys and sorrows, triumphs and challenges. It was nurtured through moments of vulnerability, through times when they allowed themselves to be truly seen by each other. This vulnerability, this authenticity, is a gift we give to our loved one. It's a silent action that speaks volumes about our trust, our commitment, our love. But here's the beautiful paradox. The more we embrace our own worth, the less we need external validation. We no longer seek to prove our value through grand gestures or constant reassurance. Instead, we simply are. We exist in our truth, radiating our worth through every fiber of our body. And in this state of being, we create a magnetic field of love around us. We attract experiences, people, and circumstances that align with our inner state. Our relationships become a reflection of the love and worth we hold within. This is where the true power of silent love lies, in its ability to transform not just our relationships, but our entire reality. As we cultivate our inner worth and express it through silent actions, we begin to see the world through new eyes. We notice the beauty in the small moments, the profound in the mundane. Our loved ones in turn begin to see us differently. They sense the shift in our energy, the depth of our self-worth. And as they do, the dynamics of the relationship begin to change. The connection deepens, the understanding grows, the love expands. But remember, this isn't a destination we arrive at overnight. It's a journey, a continuous process of growth and self-discovery. There will be moments of doubt, times when old patterns of thinking try to reassert themselves. In these moments, we must return to our center through the knowledge of our inherent worth. Imagine for a moment that you are a mighty oak tree. Your roots run deep into the earth, drawing nourishment from the soil of self-love and self-worth. Your trunk stands tall and strong, representing your core values and beliefs. Your branches reach toward the sky, ever growing, ever expanding. Now envision your loved one as another tree standing beside you. Your branches intertwine, creating a canopy of shared experiences and mutual support. But notice, each tree stands on its own, rooted in its own soil, strong in its own right. This is the essence of a healthy relationship. Two whole individuals choosing to share their lives, each secure in their own worth, each contribute to the growth of the other. As we stand in this awareness, we begin to understand that true love isn't about competing each other. It's about complementing each other. It's about creating a space where both individuals can flourish, where both can express their true worth. And it's in this state that the magic of silent love truly comes alive. It's here that a simple glance can convey volumes of affection. It's here that a gentle touch can provide more comfort than 1,000 words. It's here that silence becomes not an absence, but a presence, a tangible expression of love and connection. So as we move forward, let's carry this awareness with us. Let's approach our relationships not from a place of lack or need, but from a place of fullness and abundance. Let's allow our inner worth to shine through in every interaction, every gesture, every moment of silence. For in doing so, we not only show our loved ones our true worth, we invite them to recognize and embrace their own. And in this mutual recognition, this shared understanding of inherent value, we create relationships that are not just satisfying but truly transformative. This, dear friend, is the power of silent love. This is the alchemy that turns ordinary moments into extraordinary expressions of connection. This is the magic that awaits us when we fully embrace our worth and allow it to radiate through our being. As we continue on this journey of self-discovery and deepening connection, remember, the most profound expressions of love often require no words at all. They reside in the spaces between breaths, in the silence between heartbeats, in the unspoken understanding that passes between two souls deeply in tune with each other. And it all begins with you, with your recognition of your own inherent worth, with your willingness to stand in your truth, with your courage to love deeply and authentically. From this foundation, we can explore the specific actions, the silent gestures that can transform our relationships and deepen our connections. So let us now turn our attention to these actions, these powerful yet subtle ways we can show our loved ones our true worth. For in these actions, we find the practical application of all we've discussed, the tangible expression of our inner worth, the silent language of profound love. As we stand rooted in the awareness of our inherent worth, we find ourselves at the threshold of transformation. The journey we've embarked upon isn't just one of self-discovery, but of profound connection. It's a path that leads us to the heart of what it means to truly love. What does it mean to show your worth to your loved one? Is it in the grand gestures, the lavish gifts, the eloquent declarations of love? Or could it be in something far more subtle, far more profound? The truth, my friends, lies in the silent actions. These are the gestures that speak louder than words, the moments that resonate in the depths of our being. They are the unspoken language of love, the quiet symphony of connection that plays between two hearts in tune. Let us explore 9 such actions, each a powerful testament to your worth, each a silent declaration of your love. The first of these actions is the art of presence. In a world constantly vying for our attention, true presence is a rare and precious gift. It's about being fully there in body, mind, and spirit with your loved one. It's about putting away the distractions, silencing the mental chatter, and simply being. Think of a time when someone gave you their undivided attention. How did it make you feel? Valued? Important? Loved? That's the power of presence. When you choose to be fully present with your loved one, you're saying, without words, you matter to me. You are worthy of my time and attention. This presence manifests in myriad ways. It's in the way you turn towards your partner when they speak, giving them your full attention. It's in the way you put down your phone during dinner, choosing connection over distraction. It's in the way you sit in comfortable silence, simply enjoying each other's company. Presence is not just about physical proximity. It's about emotional availability. It's about creating a space where your loved one feels seen, heard, and understood. In your presence, they should feel free to be themselves, to express thoughts and feelings without fear of judgment. Remember, every moment of true presence is a gift. It's a silent action that speaks volumes about your love and the worth you place on your relationship. The second silent action, unwavering support. This goes beyond mere words of encouragement. It's about being a steady, reliable presence in your loved one's life, especially during challenging times. Unwavering support is standing by your partner's side as they pursue their dreams, even when those dreams seem impossible. It's believing in them when they struggle to believe in themselves. It's being their rock when the storms of life threaten to overwhelm them. This support doesn't always require grand gestures. Sometimes it's as simple as a reassuring squeeze of the hand before an important meeting. Other times it's staying up late to help them prepare for a presentation. It's celebrating their victories, no matter how small, and comforting them in their unwavering support is also about creating a safe haven for your loved one. It's about being the person they can turn to when the world feels too much. In your support, they find strength. In your steadfastness, they find courage. Remember, when you offer unwavering support, you're silently saying, I believe in you. I am here for you, no matter what. And in doing so, you demonstrate your own worth as a partner, a friend, a lover. The third silent action is the language of touch. In the gentle caress of a hand, the warm embrace of a hug, the soft brush of lips, you find a form of communication that transcends words. Physical touch has the power to comfort, to heal, to express love in its purest form. It's in the way you reach for your partner's hand as you walk together. It's in the comforting arm around their shoulder when they're feeling down. It's in the tender kiss goodnight and the warm cuddle in the morning. But the language of touch goes beyond romantic gestures. It's also in the playful ruffle of hair, the gentle pat on the back, the comforting hand on the arm. Each touch is a wordless expression of affection, of connection, of... Remember, touch is a powerful tool. Use it mindfully, respectfully. Let your touch be a source of comfort, of reassurance, of love. Let it speak the words your mouth cannot utter, express the emotions your voice cannot convey. The fourth silent action is thoughtful gestures. These are the small acts of kindness that show your loved one you're thinking of them, that you care about their happiness and well-being. It could be as simple as making their favorite breakfast on a busy morning, or leaving a loving note in their lunchbox. Perhaps it's taking care of a chore they usually do without being asked, or remembering to pick up their favorite snack when you're at the store. These gestures don't need to be grand or expensive. Their power lies in their thoughtfulness, in the fact that you paid attention to your loved one's needs and preferences. When you perform these thoughtful gestures, you are silently saying, I see you. I know you. I care about your happiness. And in doing so, you're showing your worth as a partner who's attentive, considerate. The fifth silent action is empathetic listening. This goes beyond merely hearing the words your loved one speaks. It's about truly listening with your heart, seeking to understand their perspective, their feelings, their needs. Empathetic listening involves giving your full attention when your partner speaks. It's about maintaining eye contact, nodding in understanding, and responding with empathy. It's about creating a safe space where they feel comfortable sharing their deepest thoughts and feelings. But empathetic listening isn't just about being silent while the other person talks. It's about asking thoughtful questions, reflecting back what you've heard to ensure understanding, and responding with compassion. When you practice empathetic listening, you're silently saying, your thoughts and feelings matter to me. I want to understand you. This level of attention and understanding is a powerful expression of love and respect. The sixth silent action is creating sacred spaces. These are the physical and emotional environments where your love can flourish, where you and your partner can connect deeply and authentically. A sacred space could be a physical location, a cozy corner in your home where you enjoy your morning coffee together, or a favorite spot in nature where you go for walks. But it can also be a temporal space, a weekly date night, or a daily ritual of sharing your highs and lows. Creating these spaces is about intentionally carving out time and place for your relationship to grow. It's about prioritizing your connection amidst the chaos of daily life. In these sacred spaces, you have the opportunity to be fully present with each other to deepen your bond, to create shared memories. When you create and maintain these spaces, you're silently saying, our relationship is a priority to me. I want us to have time and space to connect. Seventh silent action is nurturing personal growth. This is about encouraging and supporting your loved one's evolution as an individual, while also focusing on your own growth. Nurturing personal growth involves encouraging your partner to pursue their passions, to learn new skills, to step out of their comfort zone. It's about celebrating their achievements and supporting them through their struggles. But it's equally about focusing on your own growth. It's about continuously working on becoming the best version of yourself, not just for your partner, but for yourself. When you nurture personal growth, both your partner's and your own, you're silently saying, I believe in your potential, and I'm committed to realizing my own. I want us both to be the best versions of ourselves. The eighth silent action is honoring boundaries. This is about respecting your loved one's individuality, their need for personal space, their right to have thoughts, feelings, and experiences that are separate from you. Honoring boundaries means asking for consent before entering their personal space. It means respecting their need for alone time. It means accepting that there may be parts of their life that they choose not to share with you. But it's also about setting and maintaining your own healthy boundary. It's about communicating your needs clearly and respectfully, standing firm in what you know is right for you. When you honor boundaries, both yours and your partner's, you are silently saying, I respect you as an individual. I value our autonomy as much as I value our connection. The ninth and final silent action is radiating unconditional love. This is perhaps the most powerful, yet the most challenging of all the actions. Radiating unconditional love means loving your partner, not for what they do or what they give you, but simply for who they are. It means loving them on their good days and their bad days, when they're at their best and when they're struggling. It means loving them enough to let them be themselves, to make their own choices, to follow their own path, even when that path diverges from yours. It means loving them through changes, through growth, through evolution. Unconditional love doesn't mean accepting harmful behavior or staying in unhealthy situations. Rather, it means maintaining a core of love and respect for the essence of who your partner is, even when you disagree with their actions. When you radiate unconditional love, you're silently saying, I love you for who you are, not for what you do for me. My love for you is not dependent on circumstances or conditions. These 9 silent actions, the presence, unwavering support, the language of touch, thoughtful gestures, empathetic listening, creating sacred spaces, nurturing personal growth, honoring boundaries, and radiating unconditional love, are powerful ways to show your loved one your true worth. They are not grand declarations or extravagant displays. They are quiet, consistent actions that, over time, weave a tapestry of deep connection and profound love. As you incorporate these actions into your daily life, remember that they're not tasks to be checked off a list. They are expressions of your inner state, reflections of the love and worth you hold within yourself. Practice them with intention, with mindfulness, with love. Let them become as natural as breathing, as integral to your relationship as the air you share. And as you do, watch how your relationship transforms. Notice how your connection deepens, how your understanding of each other grows, how your love expands and evolves. For in these silent actions, you're not just showing your worth to your loved one. You're creating a relationship of mutual respect, deep understanding, and profound love. You're crafting a love story written not in words, but in the language of silent, meaningful actions. And in this silent symphony of love, you'll find a connection more powerful, more profound than words could ever express. This, dear friends, is the true power of silent love. This is how you show your loved one your true worth. As we've explored the 9 silent actions that demonstrate our worth to our loved ones, we find ourselves at the threshold of profound truth. Our relationships are mirrors, reflecting back to us the love and worth we hold within ourselves. This realization brings us to the heart of manifesting our true worth, not just in our relationships, but in every aspect of our life. How do you perceive yourself? What value do you place on your own being? The answers to these questions shape not only how you interact with your loved ones, but how you move through the world at large. You see, the process of manifesting your true worth begins within. It's an internal journey, a shift in consciousness that ripples outward, touching every facet of your existence. This isn't about ego or self-importance. Rather, it's about recognizing and honoring the divine essence that resides within you. Think of yourself as a vessel of infinite potential, a unique expression of the universal consciousness. Within you lies all the wisdom, all the love, all the power you could ever need. Your task is not to acquire worth from external sources, but to uncover and express the worth that already exists within you. This understanding transforms how we approach our relationships. No longer do we seek validation or completion from our partners. Instead, we come to our relationships whole, complete, brimming with love and worth. From this place of fullness, we can truly give, truly love, truly connect. But how do we make this shift? How do we move from seeking worth externally to recognizing and manifesting our inherent value? It begins with self-reflection. Take a moment now to look within. What qualities do you admire in yourself? What strength do you bring to your relationships, to your work, to the world? Perhaps it's your compassion, your creativity, your resilience. Wherever these qualities are, acknowledge them. Celebrate them, for they are expressions of your true worth. Next, consider the beliefs you hold about yourself. Are they limiting or empowering? Do they reflect your true potential, or do they keep you small? Remember, your beliefs shape your reality. As you think, so shall you become. If you find yourself harboring limiting beliefs, know that you have the power to change them. You are not bound by past programming or societal expectations. You are a creator capable of reshaping your inner world and, by extension, your outer reality. This makes you a powerful truth. You are not merely a passive observer of your life, but an active creator of your experience. Your thoughts, your beliefs, your expectations, these are the tools with which you sculpt your reality. When you truly understand this, you begin to approach life differently. You no longer see yourself as a victim of circumstances, but as a powerful creator of your own destiny. This shift in perspective is transformative, not just for you, but for everyone around you. In your relationships, this manifests as a profound sense of security and authenticity. You no longer need your partner to complete you or validate your worth. Instead, you come to the relationship as a whole being, offering your love freely. This is the essence of unconditional love. A love that flows from your own fullness, not from a place of lack or need. It's a love that says, I don't need you to be a certain way for me to love you. I love you as you are, and I love myself as I am. As you embody this truth, you'll find that your relationships naturally deepen and flourish. The silent actions we discussed earlier become not just things you do, but natural expressions of your inner state. Presence, support, empathy. These flow effortlessly from your being because they are aligned with your true nature. But manifesting your true worth goes beyond your relationships. It touches every aspect of your life. In your work, it shows up as confidence and excellence. In your personal pursuits, it manifests as passion and dedication. In your spiritual life, it expresses itself as peace and connection to something greater than yourself. You begin to move through the world with a quiet confidence, a serene knowing of your inherent value. This doesn't mean you'll never face challenges or doubts, but when you do, you have a deep well of self-worth to draw from, an unshakable foundation that supports you through life's ups and downs. Must hold a secret. The most effective way to manifest your true worth is to live from the end. What does this mean? It means embodying the state of being you desire as if it's already your reality. If you want to be valued, act as someone who knows their worth. If you want to be loved, be loving. If you want to be respected, be respectful. This isn't about pretending or putting on a facade. It's about aligning your thoughts, feelings, and actions with your truest, highest self. When you live from this place, you send out a powerful message to the universe. You declare, this is who I am. This is my word. And the universe, in its infinite wisdom, responds in kind, reflecting back to you the reality you claim for yourself. This principle applies to all areas of life, including your relationships. If you want a relationship filled with love, respect, and understanding, embody those qualities yourself. Be the partner you wish to attract. Live as if you're already in the relationship of your dreams. As you do this, you'll find that your external reality begins to shift to match your inner state. The right people, opportunities, and experiences naturally gravitate towards you because you're vibrating at a frequency that attracts them. Remember, manifesting your true worth isn't about changing who you are at your core. It's about peeling away the layers of doubt, fear, and limiting beliefs to reveal the radiant being you've always been beneath. It's about recognizing that you are not separate from the source of all creation, but an integral part of it. You are not just a drop in the ocean, but the entire ocean in a drop. When you truly understand and embody this truth, your worth becomes self-evident undeniably. So, As we conclude this exploration of silent love in 2 words, I invite you to carry these truths with you. Let them infuse your thoughts, your actions, your very being. Live each day as a testament to your inherent value, your divine nature. Express your worth through the silent actions we discussed. Be present. Offer unwavering support. Speak the language of touch. Perform thoughtful gestures. Listen with empathy. Create sacred spaces. Nurture growth. Honor boundaries. Radiate unconditional love. But above all, remember this. Your true worth isn't something you need to prove or earn. It's your birthright, your inherent nature. Your task is simply to recognize it, to embody it, to live from it. As you do, you'll find that your relationships transform, your life expands, and you become a powerful force for love and positive change in the world. For when you truly manifest your worth, you give others permission to do the same. You become a living example of what's possible when we embrace our divine nature and live from a place of love and authenticity. This, dear friends, is the ultimate expression of silent love. The love that needs no words because it radiates from every fiber of your being. This is how you truly show your loved ones, and indeed the world, your true magnificent worth.